Welcome back to my channel, and hey there. And today I have a video talking all about the best paint colors for small apartments. I personally am one that is very well versed with small apartment living because I have lived in multiple small apartments over the past 7 years. I actually did have one larger place, so I can't say I've lived in tiny spaces my whole life, but I have been living in expensive cities for about 7.5 years now, which is kind of a long time. And as many of you guys know, places like New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles are pretty expensive places to live. And I lived in a 450 square foot studio in Brooklyn for 3 years. Then I lived in a 600 square foot one bedroom in Manhattan for about 2 years. And now I'm currently in a 750 square foot apartment in Los Angeles, which I know sounds a little bit large, but it's actually a 2 bedroom that I share with my roommate. So we each have our own tiny room, and then we share the living room, dining room, and kitchen space. My roommate and I actually shared a 400 square foot studio at one point, and I've actually lived with various roommates for almost my entire time in these expensive cities. But today, I kind of just wanted to share my 10 best paint colors if you have a smaller space to just create a very efficient, clean, beautiful, and livable environment that really represents your personal style, but is also very functional and makes your space feel as large as possible at the same time. I know I said that twice, but that's what we're going for. A livable space that feels bigger and brighter than it actually is. Definitely follow me on my channel. You can subscribe below if you would like to follow along. I post brand new paint color and home decorating content every single week. And you can also follow my Color Confident Instagram account, which will be on the screen right now. Also, guys, do not forget that in my last video, the one I posted previous to this one, I'm giving away 10 prizes for hitting 300,000 subscribers, including $200 Home Depot gift cards, custom color consultations, and a lot of really fun paint-related prizes that you have not seen before. If you have not seen that video yet, I'll put a card somewhere up on the screen above my eyes, and I will also link it in the description box below because you definitely need to check out that one. Okay, but enough rambling. Let's get into these 10 best paint colors if you have a small space and you want to make it feel bigger, brighter, and more beautiful than ever before. I'm going in full force with the first one because this is probably my biggest recommendation for someone that has a small apartment. The first color is classic white, and I'm talking about Benjamin Moore's Simply White or Sherwin-Williams's Pure White. When I moved into my first tiny studio apartment in Brooklyn, I was terrified to paint anything because I thought it would make the space feel even smaller, but I learned that the right white paint can literally transform a cramped space into something that feels open and airy. I painted my entire 450 square foot studio in simply white, including the ceiling, and the difference was absolutely incredible. What this does is it reflects every single bit of natural light that comes into your space, and when you have limited windows like most small apartments do, you need every ounce of light you can get. The reason this works so well is that white paint has the highest light reflectance value, which means it bounces light around your room instead of absorbing it like darker colors do. I personally recommend painting your ceiling the same white as your walls because it creates this seamless flow that makes your ceiling appear higher than it actually is. Keep in mind that not all whites are created equal though. You want to avoid whites that have yellow or pink undertones because they can make a small space feel dingy or closed in. Simply white and pure white are both clean, crisp whites that work beautifully in small spaces, and they provide the perfect backdrop for any colorful furniture or artwork you want to add later. Moving on to color number 2, and this one might surprise some of you, but it's a very light gray called Agreeable Gray by Sherwin-Williams. Now I know what you're thinking. Gray in a small space sounds like it would make it feel dark and depressing, but hear me out on this one. When I moved into my second apartment, which was that 600 square foot one bedroom in Manhattan, I wanted something with a little more personality than stark white, but I was still nervous about going too bold. Agreeable Gray became my absolute lifesaver because it's what we call a greige, which means it's a perfect blend of gray and beige that feels warm and sophisticated, but still light enough to make a space feel larger. What I love about this color is that it has these subtle warm undertones that prevent it from feeling cold or sterile, which can sometimes happen with pure grays in small spaces. The magic of Agreeable Gray is that it works beautifully with both warm and cool accent colors. So whether you want to add pops of navy blue, soft pink, or even bright yellow, this color provides the perfect neutral foundation. I painted my bedroom in this color, and it instantly made the space feel more expensive and put together, like something you'd see in a high-end hotel. The key with this color is to make sure you have adequate lighting, because in very dark spaces it can read a little flat, but with even minimal natural light, it comes alive and creates this beautiful, calming atmosphere. Color number 3 is something I discovered completely by accident, and that's a color called Sea Salt by Sherwin-Williams. This is technically a very light blue-green, but it reads almost like a neutral in most lighting conditions. I stumbled upon this color when I was helping my roommate paint her tiny bedroom in our shared studio, and we were looking for something that would make the space feel larger but still have some personality. Sea salt is absolutely magical in small spaces because it has this incredible ability to make walls seem like they're receding, which creates the illusion of more space. The subtle blue undertones remind your brain of the sky and open spaces, which psychologically makes you feel less confined. What's amazing about this color is that it changes throughout the day depending on the light, sometimes looking more blue, sometimes more green, and sometimes almost gray, which keeps your space feeling dynamic and interesting even when you're spending a lot of time in a small area. I've used this color in 3 different small apartments now, and every single time people walk in and comment on how spacious the room feels. The trick with sea salt is to pair it with crisp white trim and ceiling, because that contrast helps define the space and makes the color really pop. This color works particularly well in bedrooms and bathrooms because it has this spa-like quality that makes you feel calm and relaxed. Now we're moving into color number 4, and this one is perfect for those of you who want to add some warmth to your small space without making it feel closed in. The color is called Agreeable Beige by Sherwin-Williams, and despite its boring name, this color is absolutely gorgeous in small apartments. When I was living in that shared 400 square foot studio with my roommate, we needed a color that would work for both of our different styles and make our tiny living area feel cozy, but not cramped. Accessible beige was the perfect solution because it's a warm, creamy beige that has just enough depth to feel sophisticated, but is still light enough to reflect light and make the space feel larger. What I love about this color is that it has these subtle gray undertones that prevent it from looking yellow or orange, which can sometimes happen with traditional beige colors, especially under artificial lighting. The beauty of Accessible Beige is that it works as a perfect backdrop for both modern and traditional furniture styles, and it makes everything in your space look more expensive and cohesive. I painted our main living area in this color, and it instantly made our mismatched furniture look like it was all part of a carefully curated design plan. This color is particularly great for small apartments that don't get a lot of natural light because it has enough warmth to prevent the space from feeling cold or unwelcoming, but it's still light enough to maximize whatever light you do have coming in. Halfway through our list now with color number 5, and this one is going to be controversial because it's actually a darker color, but trust me on this one. The color is called Naval by Sherwin-Williams, and it's a deep, rich navy blue that can actually make small spaces feel larger when used correctly. I know this sounds completely counterintuitive, but let me explain how I discovered this trick. In my current apartment, I have this tiny powder room that's maybe 20 square feet, and I was so tired of trying to make it feel bigger with light colors that just made it feel boring and forgettable. I decided to embrace the small size and painted the entire room, including the ceiling, in naval, and the result was absolutely stunning. What happens when you paint a small space in a dark, rich color is that the walls seem to disappear into the darkness, which actually makes the boundaries of the room less defined and creates this cozy, intimate feeling rather than a cramped, claustrophobic one. The key to making this work is to add plenty of lighting and use light-colored accessories and fixtures to create contrast. I added a large mirror, white towels, and brass fixtures, and the room went from feeling like a closet to feeling like a luxurious jewel box. This technique works particularly well in small bedrooms, bathrooms, or even accent walls in living areas. The trick is to commit fully to the dark color rather than just doing one wall, because that's what creates the magical disappearing wall effect. Color number 6 is one that I wish I had discovered earlier in my small apartment journey, and that's a color called Rainwashed by Sherwin-Williams. This is a very soft, muted blue that's almost like a whisper of color, and it has this incredible ability to make small spaces feel serene and spacious at the same time. I first used this color in my current bedroom, which is only about 100 square feet, and I was amazed at how it transformed the space. Rainwashed has these subtle gray undertones that prevent it from feeling too sweet or childish, but it still has enough blue to create that sense of openness and calm that we associate with the sky and water. What's particularly great about this color in small apartments is that it works beautifully with both warm and cool lighting, so whether you have harsh fluorescent bulbs or warm LED lights, the color always looks balanced and beautiful. I've found that this color is particularly effective in bedrooms because it promotes relaxation and sleep, but it also works wonderfully in living areas where you want to create a peaceful, stress-free environment. The key to using Rainwash successfully is to pair it with plenty of white or cream-colored accents because that contrast helps the blue really shine and prevents the space from feeling too monochromatic. I added white bedding, cream-colored curtains, and some natural wood accents, and the room feels like a peaceful retreat even though it's tiny. Moving on to color number 7, and this one is perfect for those of you who want to add some sophistication to your small space. The color is called Repose Gray by Sherwin-Williams, and it's what I consider the perfect medium gray for small apartments. When I was living in my Manhattan one-bedroom, I wanted something more interesting than white, but I was nervous about going too dark, and Repose Gray was the perfect middle ground. This color has just enough depth to feel sophisticated and grown up, but it's still light enough to reflect light and make your space feel larger. What I love about Repose Gray is that it has these very subtle, warm undertones that prevent it from feeling cold or institutional, which can sometimes be a problem with gray paint colors. The beauty of this color is that it works as a perfect neutral backdrop for any style of furniture or decor, whether you prefer modern minimalist pieces or more traditional, cozy elements. I painted my living room in Repose Gray, and it instantly made all of my furniture look more expensive and cohesive, even though most of it was budget-friendly pieces I had collected over the years. This color is particularly great for open-concept small apartments because it provides a sophisticated backdrop that helps define different areas without being too bold or distracting. The trick with Repose Gray is to add plenty of texture and contrast through your furniture and accessories because the color itself is quite neutral and can feel flat if you don't layer in some visual interest. Color number 8 is one that completely changed my perspective on what colors can work in small spaces, and that's a color called Pale Oak by Benjamin Moore. This is a very light, warm gray with subtle green undertones, and it has this incredible ability to make small spaces feel both cozy and spacious at the same time. I discovered this color when I was helping a friend paint her tiny studio apartment, and we were looking for something that would feel fresh and modern, but still warm and inviting. Pale Oak was absolutely perfect because it has enough color to feel interesting and sophisticated, but it's still neutral enough to work with any furniture or decor style. What's amazing about this color is how it changes throughout the day, sometimes looking more gray, sometimes more green, and sometimes almost beige, which keeps your space feeling dynamic even when you're spending long hours in a small area. The subtle green undertones in Pale Oak are particularly magical because they remind your subconscious of nature and outdoor spaces, which helps counteract that closed-in feeling that can sometimes happen in small apartments. I ended up using this color in my own kitchen area, which is part of an open concept living space, and it creates this beautiful, calming backdrop that makes the entire area feel more spacious and serene. The key to using Pale Oak successfully is to pair it with crisp white trim and plenty of natural textures like wood and plants, because those elements help bring out the subtle green undertones and create a fresh, organic feeling. We're getting close to the end with color number 9, and this one is perfect for those of you who want to add some warmth and personality to your small space without overwhelming it. The color is called Creamy by Sherwin-Williams, and despite its simple name, this is one of the most sophisticated and versatile colors I've ever used in small apartments. When I moved into my current place and was trying to create a cohesive color scheme that would work throughout the entire space, Creamy became my go-to neutral because it has this perfect balance of warmth and lightness that makes every room feel inviting but not cramped. What I love about Creamy is that it's not quite white and not quite beige, but something perfectly in between that works beautifully with both warm and cool accent colors. This color has just enough depth to feel rich and expensive, but it's still light enough to reflect light and make your space feel larger than it actually is. I use Creamy in my dining area, which is really just a corner of my living room, and it helps define that space while still flowing seamlessly with the rest of the apartment. The beauty of this color is that it makes everything in your space look more expensive and put together, whether you have high-end furniture or budget-friendly pieces from discount stores. Creamy is particularly great for small apartments because it creates this warm, welcoming atmosphere that makes you and your guests feel comfortable and relaxed, even in a tiny space. The trick with this color is to add plenty of contrast through your furniture and accessories, because while the color is beautiful, it can feel a little flat if you don't layer in some darker or brighter elements. And finally, we've reached color number 10, which is my absolute favorite discovery from all my years of living in small apartments. The color is called Cloud White by Benjamin Moore, and this is hands down the most perfect white paint color for small spaces that I have ever used. Now, I know I already talked about white paint at the beginning of this video, but Cloud White is different from those other whites because it has these very subtle, warm undertones that prevent it from feeling stark or cold while still being light enough to maximize every bit of natural light in your space. I discovered Cloud White when I was repainting my current apartment, and I wanted something that would feel fresh and clean but still warm and inviting. What makes Cloud White so special is that it has just a hint of gray and beige undertones that give it depth and sophistication, but it still reads as a true white that reflects light beautifully. This color is absolutely magical in small spaces because it creates this seamless, airy feeling that makes walls seem to disappear while still providing enough warmth to make the space feel cozy and livable. I painted my entire living room in Cloud White, including the ceiling, and the transformation was incredible. The room went from feeling cramped and dark to feeling open, bright, and sophisticated. What I love most about Cloud White is that it works as the perfect backdrop for any style of furniture or decor, and it makes everything in your space look more expensive and carefully curated. This color is particularly perfect for small apartments because it maximizes light, creates a sense of spaciousness, and provides a timeless, elegant foundation that you'll never get tired of. Okay, guys, so I feel like that was a huge amount of information, and I really hope that these 10 paint colors can help you transform your small apartment into a space that feels bigger, brighter, and more beautiful than ever before. These are colors that I have been testing and perfecting over the past 7 years of small apartment living, and I've shared them with friends and family members who have all had incredible results in their own tiny spaces. My roommate and I actually sat down and talked through each of these colors as well, because these are definitely colors we have used in our current apartment and in past apartments. And they are colors that we will continue to use in future small spaces because they just work so beautifully. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video and found it helpful for your own small apartment decorating journey. Don't forget to check out my last video, which has that 300,000 subscriber giveaway in it, because you are definitely not going to want to miss out on those amazing paint-related prizes. And don't forget to also subscribe to my channel. For brand new paint color and home decorating content every single week, I'm sure there's something on my channel that you're going to love and find helpful for your own space. Without further ado, I think I will catch you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day. Give this video a thumbs up if it was helpful, and let me know which paint color was your favorite in the comment section below.